Hello, nerds. Welcome to GeekBeast, part of the Geekish Network. This is your daily rundown of geek news for geeks like you. But today is Friday, so that means it's happy hour, and anything can fly out the fucking hinges here because the world is upside down right now. We do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and so much has happened over Thursdays and Tuesdays that it's hard to cover all this on a Friday. But we're going to go into some news today. I'm your host, Chuck, and with me I got Randy. Say what's up to the people, Randy.
Yo, what's going on, GeekBeast? Chuck, man, come on. What are we talking about tonight? Well, first of all, it's happy hour. It's happy hour.
It is happy hour. What are you drinking on?
What I'm drinking? I'm drinking rum punch. I got three different.
I drank my water up as we were talking early on the show because it had me going, and I was drinking like it was some liquor.
Well, I got Bacardi Dark, Bacardi Light, some orange juice, pineapple juice, and some grenadine.
Nice.
Right.
Nice. And so chat, what are y'all drinking on? Tell us in the chat what you're drinking on. As you know, we are an audience participation show. And so if you're in our chats on Twitch, on YouTube, on anywhere that we're streaming, you can come in and leave a comment and we will answer it and talk about it on the air.
We will. He's not lying.
Yeah. But our name of our show is Happy Hour, but SAG strikes.
So we got Defont. He's in the chat. He said, got some good but expensive tacos for dinner. Had a pineapple mojito soda.
Right.
Soda.
Yarjitos.
I don't know what that is. What are yarjitos?
It's soda, man. It's Mexican soda that's made with real sugar, cane sugar. You can buy it in the store. You can go to the store and get it, Randy. They come in. They're very colorful. You'll see it says in the Jarritos. You'll see like blue, red, green. It's a lot of green ones. Green, and so you'll have that. And he got the pineapple flavors. That means it's yellow. He got the yellow one.
All right. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about? You said the strike.
Strikes. So actors are right now on picking lines. This is the first day, this first real day of striking, and I bet you they're all right now on happy hour, already drinking beers, talking smack about what's going on in the world in their jobs. So the Screen Actors Guild has said, and AFTRA, which is part of the Screen Actors Guild, that combined together as a union, have said, hey, our actors ain't gonna work right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna hold out. We're going to hold out over a number of things. Number one, all you big media companies decided to chase Netflix and become streamers and kill all your revenue sources.
Mm-hmm.
And killing your revenue sources, you kill our revenue sources. My show's no longer in syndication.
Right. Yep.
My show is no longer selling DVDs and Blu-rays.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that we delineate that we're not talking Tom Cruise or Robert Downey Jr. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about working actors. Like, that's how they make their living, and they live from project to project, just like you live from paycheck to paycheck with your job, or project to project with your job. This is what they do. They're fighting over a fair living wage.
We're not talking about A-listers, because they're fine. They're fine. We're talking about B, C, D, and some E-listers.
Yeah.
This is at the same time we have the Writers Guild striking.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have them going on the same strike. But the interesting thing about the Hollywood strike, anything currently in production will be forced to halt.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that's so yeah, a lot of CEOs said, okay, we got some scripts, we got some actors, we can go shoot this. So they went to go shoot it. And now that has to come to a stop.
All gotta stop.
It all got to stop. And it makes sense because you have companies, these media companies, who say, oh no, we're not a media, we're not a studio anymore. We're a tech company, and it's very expensive to run Disney Plus, Max. It's very expensive to run those things. MGM, we're trying to compete against Netflix, who is a real tech company.
Right. Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, they kind of tried to tell you all that from the beginning. The streaming thing ain't as easy as you think it is, right? I get it. You all have a catalog. You have a deep catalog. But being a streamer is different than just having a deep catalog and throwing a bunch of things on a streaming service.
Reed Hastings, ex-CEO of Netflix, said, hey, I'm glad that these companies are coming into the space. It solidifies the space is valuable. And I've been saying that for the last 2 decades. They finally come in. I wish them well, but they're going to realize it is difficult to protect the sources of income you currently have with the new streaming source of income that you're going to need to compete against us.
Yeah. And a lot of them thought this was just going to open up this new source of revenue, right? You got $10 a month, or to stay viable in this game, you've got to constantly be creating new content. Nobody's going to watch old content, pay $10 a month to watch old content.
Yes.
So that gets expensive. And then you got to realize too, it can cannibalize your, as you were saying, your actual going out to the movies, your DVD sales, going to the movies, syndication sales, all of those things. I think they should have just started to work with Netflix, and maybe there's room for another major streamer, but everybody having a streaming platform. Now, great, it's great for the consumer, right? Because we're getting a lot of content, right? It's a good time to be alive. It's a lot of content out there, but you're killing yourselves.
They didn't realize that building so much content makes it where people don't want to watch any of your old content because we're trying to keep with the new content. And second of all, we're not going to experience all the new content because there's only certain things that can happen. Like for example, we were talking about Paramount Plus, before the show started. Star Trek. They're like, oh, we're coming out with Star Trek. People love Star Trek. We're going to come out with 4 Star Trek shows. And they're struggling with Star Trek right now. They are totally struggling with Star Trek. People are not watching The Next Generation over again. People are not watching Deep Space Nine over again. They watch their favorite episodes, but they're not watching the whole series over. They're not watching Lower Decks. People didn't watch Picard. People watched the first season of Michael Burnham in Discovery. And people are Strange New Worlds, right?
Well, it's really interesting what you just said. You said people aren't going to watch your old stuff. And that's so true. They don't, even with the new stuff, with so much content being out there, if I miss 6 episodes, I'm like, I forget about it. Because there's so much other stuff I've got to go back. Like if I miss season 1, let's say I got into season 1, like I really liked the first 3 episodes, but I got so caught up in something else. If I miss season 1, I don't have time to go back and watch season 1 in preparation for season 2 because there's so much new stuff out there.
I don't have time to watch stuff week to week. I have time to binge something. Like I'll set aside Sunday. I'm not getting out of my bed. I got my iPad or I got my television on, and I can binge 10 hours of television. Now you're telling me that I got to tune in to a show week to week like it's on normal TV without commercials. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not either.
We have binge worthy. Some of y'all go week to week on some of the shows, and I'm like, I'm not watching that. I have set aside Saturday. I got 10-hour time block. And whatever show we need to do, I can throw it in at 10 hours, order me a pizza, I have my popcorn here. I have my drinks, my waters. I got Waterloo. I got Flow water. I just bought a soda stream so I can make my own sodas. I am good. I'll open my windows up, keep my curtains closed, and had a TV on all day long and binge a show in like a day.
I don't necessarily always do that. Like if it's serial, I won't watch it week to week because I just can't do that. But I might do like 4 episodes back to back.
I'm gonna tell everybody it's un-American to watch a show week to week. Un-American.
Yeah, I can't.
What's up? You can't be giving me shows when Netflix gives me a million shows from other countries.
Right.
Drops a whole entire show. They may save off the last 2 episodes to make sure people don't cancel the service. They go on for 2 months.
But they don't really do that. They don't do that. Most Netflix shows, they drop all of them at once. Defunct, sorry, bro. Water cooler, it's over.
We got to bring you into the water cooler. We got to bring you backstage.
Yeah.
Let's do his talk. But I don't get this. So they kill all let's go back to the main topic for SAG. They kill all the sources of income. And then they're saying, hey, we're a tech company now, and my $30 million salary can't be interrupted, and I got to keep it. So you live in check to check, and I killed your sources of income. Now you're not getting any syndication residuals. Now you're not getting any DVD or Blu-ray residuals. And what you got is the actual launch and first day residuals. And for a lot of shows that don't go across TV, because not every show goes on TV now, you just got your check that we gave you to be the writer or be the actor in.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
One time we got one payment. So that's crazy.
Remember we kind of talked about that too. That was another reason why Netflix was like killing shows without like just one season. So they didn't have to pay the residuals. Yeah. They didn't have to pay the licensing. They didn't have to pay the residuals. Like there was even there was a statement. There was one guy. He was with Hassan, one of the strike leaders, one of the writers. He said he wrote a whole season when he was on cable of. So I forget the name of the show, but he basically his residual check was like $20,000. Mm-hmm. He wrote a show for Netflix, and his residual check was like $500. It's just like, it's just like it's just crazy the difference, right? It just, the model is really fucked. Yeah, you know.
Now all cable does is Law and Order or some show that came on in the 90s, early 2000s. They just play those over. They don't even bring on a lot of new shows on cable anymore.
I don't even watch cable television. I swear I don't. I don't know what cable television shows. I mean, I have cable, but I don't watch it at all. I don't know when it comes on or anything.
People are like, oh, you must have been a cable cutter. I've never had cable as an adult.
I have it, but I still don't watch it.
I look at my mom. My mom's like, we got cable, and she tells me they pay $268 a month for cable, internet, and phone. I'm like, that is crazy.
I watch cable for sports. I have cable for sports.
You get Amazon and YouTube Premium, YouTube television for $59 a month,
and news.
You can go to every news station. You can go to YouTube and get the same news stories. You can go to TikTok and get better news stories.
Oh, I mean, I do. Like I said, I do have cable, but like I don't watch any syndicated shows on cable.
And cable has 2 things on it that people watch: sports, which YouTube Prime, YouTube Red can give you for free for $59.99 a month, and they give you reality shows. And those same reality shows are now streaming at the same time they come out.
But like I can't get TNT, the TNT thing and NBA TV. Like I have my sports on.
YouTube Red, I think, gives you a TNT now.
I can't say if it does or not.
I think they do. I think they there. You know, Google's like, "Hey, y'all come in our package. Come in our package."
And if that's the case, then I'll give cable to.
So people pay like $200 a month for cable, and you still have to go through fucking commercials. You still got to deal with fucking commercials. You know, that's the bane of my existence is commercials. I hate commercials. Oh my God. I think it's the worst thing ever. I lose my mind. I have YouTube Premium, so I don't have commercials. I pay $15 a month so I don't get interrupted watching the YouTube video. Everything feels like a master class.
I still I don't have a YouTube Premium.
And if I had YouTube Red, because if I cared about sports that much, or I cared about something that was live television programming, I would have YouTube Red, and I still wouldn't have commercials. Yeah, but I don't care.
I have to have NBA, like in the NBA season. I have to have that. I can't get around that. So I've got to watch
your cable the other 9 months out of the year, and come back and get a fresh new subscription. It's cheaper.
Other than that, yeah, I don't necessarily need.
So you pay about what? $2,400 a month, $2,400 a year for 4 months of programming.
Hey, no, well, I have my internet, so mine is a bundle package, right? It's like my internet.
Are you getting 1 gig up, 1 gig down?
I don't know. I don't know. I know I get my internet with it.
When you turn on the internet and you click on it, click a web page, and it's almost instantly there. You're getting 1 gig up, 1 gig.
Internet service is okay. I mean, it's okay. And so I have that with that. I had that.
Just and what else? You got your phone, you got your house phone.
Yeah. So it's like all that.
Which you don't use.
Yeah. But the deal that I got through my cable provider, it was cheaper for me to have a phone and not have a phone.
How much is your cable? How much is your bill a month for your cable?
Like something, 170, 180, something like that.
So you pay 180 for a phone you don't use for not the top tier internet service.
Yeah. But it was more the deals that, and I looked around, the deals that I got, it was more without the phone service than it was with.
Randy, there are websites out there that stream every NBA game without commercials right now. They bring the streams in from like Germany and Japan and whatnot. They have English speaking people there actually commentating on the game as you're watching it. And it may be illegal, but it's there for free.
So I don't know.
You can have that too. And so you pay 170, let's say 160 times 12. What's 160 times 12? Help me out, chat. What's 160 times 12?
I can calculate it. I ain't, y'all know my memory ain't what it used to be. One point in time, I could have did that without even.
Me too. We're old now. $720. So you pay $720 a year for 4 months of basketball games, and you only care about like 2 teams.
I actually like just basketball. I watch.
You like basketball.
I watch basketball.
But so for 4 months, you pay $720.
It's not just that. Like I said, it's the cable and the internet package together.
Yeah. But you don't pay for any of your streamers, though, too. Your streamers are bundled in your cable for the most part, too.
I mean, Netflix, I pay separately from that.
Netflix, but your HBO.
Right. It's all into that. Yeah. So
I cut out the streamers. That may be a little bit worth it, but you're still paying $720 for basketball.
Yeah. So.
And I get that.
But it comes, like I said, again, it comes with HBO Max. So I get HBO. It's included in that deal is included with like HBO Max.
And
Showtime, and which is Paramount Plus. So I get those included into that with it as well.
I got MGM too, right? It comes.
I don't know if
Epics, does that come in?
I don't have Epics. I have MGM.
Epic, Sundance, Criterion will be the other streamers I would pick up.
So I have those things like all in and Amazon is not really a thing because I get Amazon Prime as a service, right? I order shit from Amazon all the time, so it's for me to do that. So
I don't even go in the stores anymore. I don't go to Best Buy or anything. I order everything Amazon.
Right, me too. So like paying for Amazon Prime, that's just a plus service
by Amazon.
Huh?
My house is furnished by Amazon.
Yeah. Everything I get is from Amazon. So like having Amazon Plus, it's not really, I'm paying extra for that because I would get that regardless if they didn't offer it or not. So it's about 170-ish, and
170.
I got it. So something like that, and that includes HBO and Paramount and Showtime.
$1,040 a year.
So
that's $2,040 a year.
So that's it.
Yeah, you could cut that down. You get HBO and Paramount for $9.99 each. That's $20.
Yeah.
You can get that. And then sign up you get a brand new cable plan whenever the NBA starts.
The way things are going now, people are going to start sailing the high seas again.
Right. I'm just thinking here, Randy. Economically,
sail the high seas.
It is cheaper just to buy the streamers and get a new cable service for 3 months because they give you the 3 months.
I get it. And my wife watches stuff. Like my wife watches like Lifetime, and she has her shit that she watches too.
Lifetime streaming service is $5.99 a year, $5.99 a month.
So her stuff. But that's the thing too. Like when you start adding up all the individual ones, you can pay as much as cable.
They at least should give you 1 gig up, 1 gig down.
I mean my internet speed, it's okay. It's okay.
Oh, I'm saying great. No.
But I don't know. I feel like for me, and it might not be bad. I just want like Google Fiber like levels.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. 1 gig up, 1 gig down. So I'm saying, because you're in a Corolla or a Camry, and that's the Camry speed, it has nothing in comparison to the Rolls Royce or a Bugatti.
Now that's what I want. That's what I want. I want
the Bugatti speed is $100 a month just by itself.
No, that's what I want. I want like Bugatti level speeds of it.
You can have Bugatti plus all your streamers, and it's still cheaper than your cable every month.
Because my cable bill is about $60 a month.
Like I said, you can have Bugatti internet speed.
So, what do you guys think? What do you think is going to happen? What's your predictions with all these strikes?
The industry's going to shut down for 2 months, 2 years. It's going to be shut down.
Well, I actually think for a lot of
I think 2 years.
I think for a lot of the streamers, though, this is going to open up for them. I think the industry better be careful. I think reality TV shows will be going to be more widely promulgated, and I think streaming shows are like independent content creators are going to be more prevalent, and people are not going to watch as much television. I'm like, why? Because right now, kids don't even watch it. Right? Young people don't even watch the shit like that. And I think the longer it stays out there, the more dangerous it's going to become. So kids just going to be like on YouTube all the time. Like, fuck it. Why I need to watch that shit?
This is why I say that, Rodney. This is why I say that. They can solve the residual problem. They can resolve the residual problem. They can pay everybody the residuals right based on streaming numbers, blah, 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 blah. Like say, hey, Netflix takes out of the $15, Netflix takes $9.99. They take 8 of that. Just cover the streaming service itself. Then the other 7 get split up in residual. They can split that up. They'll figure out that pie. They'll figure out that math. The issue is going to be artificial intelligence because nobody knows what artificial intelligence is going to lead into. And so as they're uncovering that, unwrapping that, unpacking that, what artificial intelligence means and what it does for jobs, they're going to be in hard negotiations the whole entire time. So as a union worker for the Writers Guild, you have to think about all the permutations that can occur over the next decade. Because if you're a studio head, you're like, we're going to lock them in for 10 years so they can't go on strike with us. We're going to lock them in with a non-compete, no strike for 10 years. And whatever happens, whatever falls out, because we hired all these great engineers at studios. I took $10 million out of my $30 million a year salary and hired some of the best engineers to give me every scenario artificial intelligence can be used in this industry for the next 10 years. And these poor writers out here don't even have that. So I'm going to get one. I'm going to get over them anyway. And as writers and as engineers actually crowdsource and open source the potential what AI can lead into, there's going to be a lot of fights and arguments about this.
I don't think 2 years. I think 2 years is a long time. I think we give it 7 months.
It's like 2 years.
I think by first quarter next year, they're back.
I think if that happens, is because the studios have forced the unions into negotiation with them.
I mean,
they're not going to get a great deal out of it because nobody knows what artificial intelligence means to a job in 10 years.
They don't. But I mean, how long are the contracts, right? The contracts are what? 5 years?
10 years. But the studios are going to go for a very long contract. They're going to go in for like a decade contract.
I don't think they're going to get that. I think they're going to get
this. Go for it though. Why wouldn't they?
I don't think. Well, I'm not saying that they're not going to go for it. I'm saying they're not going to get it. I think this is wrapped up first quarter. I think this is wrapped up first quarter 2024.
We'll see. It's going to go on for a while.
Yeah, March 2024. By March 2024, I think this is done.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of non-union workers and a lot of people make content, and if you like Netflix or something, you'll figure a way to put it on your platform.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think independent content creators are going to be very prevalent in the next couple of months. They're gonna I don't think the studio wants to get to a point by next year this time they're facing these challenges because they're not going to have blockbuster movies. They think they're hurting now. They're not going to have any blockbuster movies coming out.
They're not.
But I think that's the last thing.
The AI question is going to be resolved. They could probably table.
So the two things, like you got your Christmas movies, your Christmas holiday movies, which is a big driver, and then your summer movies. They don't want to go into a point where they don't have new summer releases at theaters.
Yes, they agree, but they realize they're not making a lot of money on theaters anymore.
I mean, and I can see part of that, but too,
point where they're like, we'll just kill that industry, we'll just kill that revenue stream, and we'll just take all the money in the streaming.
Because they're not making money in the streaming. That's the problem. They're not making as much money in the streaming.
Telling us.
Huh?
They're not making as much money, but they're
not making this. Well, that's the problem. They have to burn through so much money. The streaming business is really expensive. It really is. Like even for Netflix, like if you look at Netflix's financials, for them, it's very expensive.
And Randy, that's why I'm saying that studios will be more strict and go hard, cutthroat. Like we're not making as much money anymore, so we can't give you that. We're not going to give you that. We're not going to budge on this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's going to tighten their purse, their belts. Everybody, it's trickle down economics over here, bitches. Y'all gonna have to suck this up. This is the new reality we all live in.
I don't think they're going to do that because they know they can make more. They know there's money to be made.
Money, making less money. We're making.
I feel like they know that there is money to be made. So you don't want to go into your fall season. You don't want your fall season start with no new shows coming out. And you don't want your summer blockbuster season going in. These studios still live on those models.
I think they still live. I think right now they
still live on the summer blockbuster. They're still living on the summer blockbuster.
Economists right now to rewrite that narrative.
It's really interesting too because when you talk about the theater stuff, you're seeing that there's a bunch of reports out that they're basically all these big movies are flopping.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones flopped, or all these other movies, all these big movies, and there hasn't really been a huge hit. I mean, there have been a few, Spider-Man for sure, Top Gun, but for the most part, a lot of these movies are flopping at the box office.
I think
they're bad movies.
So they're making also that too. That's also too, right? There's
making cheaper movies.
Yeah, they're making these movies that cost $250 million or more to make, and they're flopping. And so it's just a mess all around, right? Yeah. And then I think part of it too is people are just like, you know what? I'll just wait a few months or a few months and it'll be on my streamer.
Yep. And this is what's going to happen, right? The old A-listers are getting old. Denzel's old. Morgan Freeman's old. Tom Cruise is getting old. And so the new A-listers coming in, y'all not making 30, 40, 50 million dollars. There's not going to be another Rock. They're going to try to stop that. The studios are like, fuck that. We're going to pay you $5 million. You're going to suck it up. You're going to take that $5 million check or go to fucking YouTube and make your YouTube videos that you've been doing for the last 20 years to get 200 million subscribers to come onto our platform. And then you come onto us that way.
the thing that I think though, it's not necessarily that they're not big movie stars anymore. I think though that in the period that we're living in now, the movies themselves are the stars. So you don't need a Rock to open big if you have a franchise that's going out there. Absolutely. So you don't need that. So that's why they are trying to have these franchise tentpole like movies. We don't want another Tom Cruise. We don't ever want Tom Cruise ever again.
It turns the studios are going to turn into the music industry. They're no longer actually cultivating artists anymore.
Right.
They go to SoundCloud and they go to YouTube, grab them for a hit. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to go to YouTube, go to the YouTuber like Pokimane, who makes like $22 million a year, and say, Pokimane, we're going to give you $3 million for one dump pump. We're going to sit there, throw you in the movie as the girl that gets killed in the next Scream movie, and all your friends are going to come and see you on the silver screen, and you'll be in everybody's bedroom. We're going to give you cut you a $3 million check. And she's going to look at that and be like, that's amazing. $3 million.
Right, because the star is going to be the franchise, not the actor playing the star.
Exactly. So
actually, that's the old Hollywood model, right? We got into like the 70s and the 80s, the 90s. That became where the superstars had more power. Back in the early days, right? The studios had all the power. They had all the franchises.
Everybody went to go see Cary Grant.
But Cary Grant was under the studio system. He got a deal, was like, yo, you're going to make these 5 movies exclusively for MGM. You can't go to Warner Brothers. You can't go to such and such. You make this 5-picture deal for that, and we'll promote and make all the movies.
So we'll look at Mark Wahlberg, who was an actor, who got rich off being an actor, who actually has his own studio deal within the studio system somewhere.
Right.
He's gonna go to YouTube and find a new Mark Wahlberg to be in the next version of Entourage.
I don't even think they want a new Mark Wahlberg. They just want a person who can carry a franchise decent enough.
New Mark Wahlberg. I want somebody just like me to redo my story all over again.
So Peter Griffin in chat says, I just seen SDCC is canceled. Was that because of the strike? You may have already said. I don't think SDCC as a whole was canceled. A bunch of panels and signings have definitely been canceled.
Actors can't come to any of the panels.
Yeah.
And they're actually recommending they don't go there at all. But some people are going under the auspices. For instance, I saw Felicia Day tweet today that she's still going because she's talking about her career as a whole, not particularly promoting a particular show.
Yeah, well, I know they had a Wheel of Time panel, and they've canceled that.
Yeah, right. And they canceled the Good Omens panel.
Good Omens panel, yeah.
They canceled a lot of panels. Yeah. But that turns Comic-Con back into the old Comic-Con. I'm excited to go see the old Comic-Con.
Yeah, so it basically becomes old Comic-Con because it's less Hollywood and more just all about the comics and the arts.
I'm excited about that. It has anything else. Because I never cared about the panels unless there's people working anyway.
Yeah, it's hard to get into those panels anyways.
The writers, like I went to the narrative and wrestling panel, like the writers of the wrestling. But I think they're not even coming. They're not even showing up now. And they're going to have a picket line out there. They're going to have the picket line right. They're not going to have it probably at the convention floor. They're probably going to have it right at the train station where you walk across. And no actor's going to cross that panel. No actor, no going to cross that panel. Cross that line.
So I'm just pulling up this real quick. This is SDCC's unofficial blog. These are all the panels and signings that have been canceled so far. So Thursday, insider look into Cruel Summer Season 2, behind the scenes of cast of Jury Duty, Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Mother May I featuring Holland Roland and Kyle Garner, Sesame Street Muppets Live. Oh yeah, it's true because that's actors.
That's one of the reasons I think they're going to resolve this, man.
The Wheel of Time. Yeah, because like all those movies that are coming out in the fall, they can't promote them.
Yeah,
they can't promote them. They can't promote Barbie and Oppenheimer, and that's like next week.
Dude,
Medical, dude, there's a lot.
And the studios are saying, we don't know what AI is going to turn into. Because one thing we don't want to do is have a writer do a first draft script and pay them the first draft payment, and they AI do.
So Abbott Elementary class in session panels canceled. Legendary Entertainment, Orphan Black Echoes.
Yeah,
canceled.
man. Right now it's
70
cool,
show,
right?
25th anniversary.
Yeah. They're not, man. Watch, come September, they're gonna be like, come June next year, they got a schedule to out here, man. They're not. I think this is wrapped up before the end of first quarter 2020.
Studios to actually take the time, the executive studios, to write a whole new playbook. They're going to take that time.
I mean, we know that they don't know how to write new playbooks.
I think they hire people to figure out how to write.
That's like, because like that's part of the problem with like what we're talking about. So we had all these flops this summer. We have flops because not because people don't want to go to movies. People don't want to see bullshit movies. There's no reason for an Indiana Jones movie.
Randy, I think that's the old guard. I think the old guard realizes we need to hire some young people that know what the fuck they're talking about. They're going to hire a bunch of young executives from tech companies to write the new playbook. They're going to be so amped about it and put the batteries in their back. They're going to write everything. It's going to be Spotify over again. It's going to be Spotify over again.
But I think what you said is true too, Randy. I think, yeah. I get that, Chuck, and I think also too is, you're gonna have this point where they're gonna have to get creative and find the new Indiana Jones. They're gonna have to get creative and find the new franchises and stop milking and the nostalgia of these franchises, right? Because I mean, as much as even Fast X flopped, according to what I mean, like box office wise. And it's like, people want this new stuff. And it's like, they had Picard, and honestly, season 3 was like a big nostalgia thing for TNG fans. But like you said, it didn't bring a lot of people it didn't bring a lot of new subscribers.
That's the thing. Like, so why do I go spend $100 at the movies for some shit that's old?
I think what's going to happen is we're going to see that the movie's not going to be as important anymore. I think Disney and all them are going to choose the movies aren't that important. We're going to focus in on our streamer because that's the future of watching movies.
Well,
theaters die and fuck them.
I'm not saying that you're not right, but Bob Iger said the exact opposite recently.
He says that now. We'll see.
He said the exact opposite. So
when investors are like, if that old model is dead, why are y'all still trying to beat that horse?
But maybe the old model is like the new model isn't working and we stick to what we know.
Hate the new model. So what we'll do is we'll lock actors down into salary contracts. We'll do a Dana White, put everybody under a fucking salary contract, and we'll make them go out there and fight for their lives.
That is the actual old model of Hollywood.
That's what we're going to see.
Yeah. Hollywood used to do that. Like, that's how their model was. It was like, you get a 5-picture deal with this studio.
And Rodney, tell me if I'm wrong. There's not a streamer out there that just has 1 million followers right now that is blowing. Kai Cenat is going to cut a movie deal with somebody and be Blade in 2028.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think they've tried that with like bigger name YouTubers, right? Like, I think Logan Paul has. Yeah, they tried it, and I don't know if it had mixed results, right?
The old model's still in place. We're gonna do the model.
So I do think that there is these streamers are even more of a big time draw than say YouTubers were, just strictly YouTubers. So like to one of your points was like in the what was that movie with Ryan Reynolds when he was like he was inside the game? Fall Guy, right? So yeah, Pokemon, Jacksepticeye, all those guys, they all had cameos. Yeah, like I think Ninja had a cameo in there.
That was the problem.
Yeah, and so I think there is a point where that could happen. But here's the other thing too: is SAG after it did come out today said that anybody that does do a project that is non-SAG, they will never ever be in SAG.
Yes.
They'll never get into SAG. So basically, if you cross the line and take on a project as a non-union actor, then you will never ever get access to SAG. So that's also too is like, you know, some of these streamers are going to be like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna honor the picket line. You know, so it just really shows that it's gonna be so fucking interesting these next few months, right?
Yeah. I think everything's changed.
Oh, for sure, it's getting disrupted. Like as much as they disrupted the industry, it's getting disrupted back.
Getting disrupted. What's going to happen now is the boards are going to sit down and go over a fine-tooth comb on how they're going to restructure the whole entire industry.
I agree with that.
And I think at the end of this, the actors are not going to be happy, nor are the writers going to be happy.
But I don't think the studios are going to be happy either.
It doesn't matter. I still have my job. And I'm still making my $30 million a year because the board's behind.
I actually think that's going to be reduced too.
And we all sit down and talk. Yeah. As studios.
We're talking about. I think Bob Iger is the last of his breed.
Oh yeah, he is the last.
I don't think the studios are now like a lot of the Les Moonves, like all of those old sort of media titans. They're not around anymore, and I think the new model is not going to be these $40-50 million a year studio executives.
I'm saying Bob Iger's gonna hold on that $30 million to the end of his career, and he's gonna.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's kind of grandfathered in. His successor.
David Zaslav is the same way.
David Zaslav, right. You know? Right. I think their successors though are not getting those.
David Zaslav actually made way more than Bob Iger did. He made like $100 million last year. 2021, it was like I think it was like 200 million or something. It was just crazy.
His thing too is Warner Brothers was kind of struggling, so they had to pay high premiums to get him. But Disney didn't necessarily have to do that.
Yeah, Sarandis is going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
He's not going to give his salary. They're going to run it for another 10, 20 years. Let the old A-listers retire. The new A-listers are going to be like Pokemon, Kai Cenat. They're going to be kids that blow up on YouTube on their own merit. And then the studios will come and say, you can come work for me. I'm going to throw you in these acting classes, and you're going to be on a silver screen, and I'm going to pay you $10 million for a 5-movie deal.
Yeah. They're gonna lock them down, and you're like, this is gonna be the only only studio you can work with, and they're gonna be like, cool, cause I ain't,
We'll do a 360 deal on you, and you're not gonna get any residuals, cause the music industry has showed a light on how to survive in a new economy.
You get a 5-picture deal.
But that's also like not a bad example, but like I guess. I don't think they should follow the example of the music industry because the music industry also exploits their artists, right? You know, they exploit their artists like Spotify. Like how many? You know, there's so much evidence out there like how much Spotify does not pay the artists. They have like millions and millions of stream and they get like pennies.
Right, you're looking from the eyes of the artist.
Yeah, that's the whole point is to exploit them.
And I think that's another reason why like these people and they have because music artists don't necessarily have a union, but the writers have a union, actors have a union, so they're fighting for artists everywhere in the sense that they're saying, hey, look, you guys, these mega tech corporations are basically exploiting the creatives across all kinds of industries.
That's why,
and it's like it's got to stop. You know, cause it's got to stop.
I can see the studio saying we'll hold out 2 years and let all them people starve. And then
they kind of came out and said that they leaked, right? That the executives are like, yeah, wait until they lose their houses and lose their apartments and all this stuff. Like, they'll come back.
We all put our money into real estate anyway. We'll put them on the fucking streets.
These guys are like,
I don't think they do 2 years. I just do not.
It may happen.
These are all publicly traded companies.
I have seen some reports saying October.
I think no later than March of 20. They cannot afford for all their projects to fail. These are publicly traded companies.
Well, let me clarify my 2 years. They're not going to answer the AI question. It's gonna be a point of contention because nobody knows what artificial intelligence is going to do to this whole entire industry and to our society.
So they're already doing, like, I know voiceover actors, a lot of the contracts that are out there now is saying that like they can recreate your voice in perpetuity.
But that's part of the problem.
And then
with
the background actors, there's another article that came out within the strike. They basically said that they are scanning the background actors. They're getting a day rate, which is about $200. They're scanning them, doing a full body scan, and they're saying in perpetuity they can use that image in another background shot, in another and it's like for basically $200. So then they don't have to pay them. And there's like a lot of I personally know a lot of my friends actually, they make a decent living by just being background actors.
Yeah. That's not even artificial intelligence question.
Yeah, that's the
metadata question. Yeah. Personal metadata.
Well, that is actually what the unions are fighting for, because they know that's what the studios are aiming to do.
Yeah, it's everywhere, because I mean you can do that where there's so many instances where the voice, like, they can recreate your likeness. I mean, you saw it with, Luke Skywalker, right? The deep fakes, all that stuff. And you're right, Chuck. It's like, the pace at which all these AI tools and things that are happening, nobody knows what it's going to look like, even like 6 months from now, let alone, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. So, I mean, but good for them. Like they're digging they're drawing a line in the sand and saying, hey, we need to figure this out, because you guys are gonna find some way to really screw us over with this AI stuff.
Yeah. And that's really what they're fighting for. That's what this is all about.
And the president of the Writers Guild said, we want to know and make sure we're safe for at least 10 years.
Right.
Studios was like, no, we're gonna lock you down for 10 years. And that's a hard negotiation. Because you got to think.
That's what this is about.
So Blue Vishnu, I actually did some work with Blue Vishnu, and The Rock came in. And The Rock came in and said, when I worked on Baywatch, Zac Efron got scanned 11 times. And they own those schemes. However, my lawyer found out for us that we could, in our contract, do a digital scan of ourselves, then own ourselves, then copyright ourselves in perpetuity, so they can't reuse without us. The studio got wind of that, and we scanned The Rock and we scanned Zac Efron all over again, and they personally own them. They start putting in their contracts, you can't do that.
Right.
And so you have a lot of actors that are like, I signed what?
Right.
I didn't have that negotiated out. Union, you're supposed to catch this type of shit.
And that's what this is really all about.
So you have A-list actors that are like upset. Like right now, even Morgan Freeman is fighting for his estate, is fighting for the use of his voice after he dies, because you have a bunch of studios claiming ownership of his voice.
Because he was in our project, we own it, so we should be able to use his voice. And that's
use his voice on new material too.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Use his voice.
Stop other studios from using it.
Use his voice on new material for anything that we want to. We don't even need him in there. But we don't need Morgan Freeman
from using it.
Huh?
Universal saying, sure, he did a show for over here for Disney, but y'all can't use his voice because we said you can't use his voice.
Now that I don't know about.
Universal, yes. So there's a lot going on in there.
So, but that is really what this is all about, because we don't know where AI or any technology is going. So it's like we're fighting right now to stake a claim in what's going on, what we own right now for the future.
So you have a metadata problem we have to deal with. We have digital doubles we have to deal with. We have artificial intelligence on top of those digital doubles. Then we have artificial consciousness we have to deal with. Then we have to have new forms of technology in order to showcase this stuff. Then we have a change in all the industries.
And
then we
then
have,
like own shit like that you did in the motherfucking 80s, right? So we can make Eddie Murphy.
I haven't even started about the archival stuff because archival stuff is most of it's going to be off the table. SAG's going to win that.
Well,
Writers Guild's going to win that. They're going to win the off the table. Like this technology wasn't created, so you can't use it. And Congress has already written the bill to support that. That's going to be fine.
I don't know because it was just an article on NPR and they were talking about that. So they were saying, so like when you have movies, right? You have a younger character. Let's say you do a prequel to Star Wars. I don't know. Let's say Star Wars, right? So you get a younger actor to play Harrison Ford or Mark Hamill, right? But studios are saying we own the likeness to that. Yes. Why can't we just?
Congress currently has a bill on the table right now on the floor.
It's on the table.
On the floor right now being circulated.
It's on the floor.
And then I think that's going to pass because because all it takes is somebody like Bang Bros to get Harrison Ford's young likeness as the Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones porn. That's illegal. That's technically illegal.
I'm not saying that's just extreme, but like if I want to come out and create a new Indiana Jones,
that's the part of the digital doubles issue. That's a digital double.
Because they talked about like if I want to create a prequel to Indiana Jones, I just take
digital double, and that was not created when I signed my contract. That was not discussed in my contract, so you can't use it if it's not discussed.
I don't know.
That's
y'all did a whole thing about it. They were like,
I hear you.
That is not chartered. Is not charted territory. So who knows what the outcome?
Right now, Congress is trying to fix that. Congress is trying to fix that.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are.
At a company that deals with a lot of metadata. And there's a lot of things going on in those companies. Visual production studios are having issues right now because now they're building sets based on likenesses of real places. And people that own those real places, like y'all owe us residuals. And you have artificial intelligence making artistic images made from different artists and not giving them any residuals. So right now
they are doing that though. Like that is a thing.
Because it's the Wild West right now. No laws have been written, but Congress has a bunch of laws in place that are trying to put in place to protect people. Because none of them, Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to be seen giving head to Donald Trump in a porn. And so she's going to protect herself as a public servant. And so we're going to see this. We're going to see all this stuff unfold. This is going to be a long write-up. Now they may come to a conclusion. You may be right. The studios may say, "Hey, 9 months, we're going to solve all these issues, and we'll tackle this other stuff later. We'll tackle it in another negotiations in a couple of years. But we're going to get y'all back to working. We're going to get the studios back and running. And we know this is an open issue, and this is going to be a penciled in tentative that we're going to get this resolved in a year or two. If not, y'all can go back on strike. Y'all can go right back on strike.
I think that's going to be how it plays.
That may be it.
I think that's how it's going to play.
But I say this issue is not going to be tackled for at least 2 years.
And that might be true. That might be true. Yeah. Yeah.
Issue.
Just because it's resolved doesn't mean this issue. Yeah. Just because they return back to work doesn't mean this issue is going to be resolved. Absolutely.
Because you have, when you sign an Audible book deal to do the narration in Audible books, if it's done in Amazon books, they own your voice. Mm-hmm. And they don't define what ownership really means. Mm-hmm. Right?
No, I agree with
if I own your voice, if I apply an AI to that voice, is that really you? That is an existential question.
These are all the things that are being debated
because the artificial intelligence technically has consciousness, and it's its own person, and it's mimicking your voice. That's like saying I can hire an impersonator to do your voice, and that's an issue they have.
No, I get that.
That's the problem.
I get that.
So all these questions have to be resolved.
I don't think they're all going to be resolved. I think there's going to be agreements, and they're going to go back to work. And in the next strike, as the technology advances, I think then these issues are going to be raised again.
right now we're seeing right now in college where a college professor said everybody has to write their papers in cursive, not even in print, because AI can do perfect print. You have to write it in cursive, and a lot of the students don't know how to write cursive
because they don't teach it anymore.
So then he said you can't type it up, you can't write it in print, because AI can do both of those things very well.
Yeah, but that's gonna be a problem then, because kids don't know how to write cursive anymore.
So kids are in the classroom like, what the fuck are you talking about cursive?
Yeah, kids don't know cursive.
I am a college freshman at 18 years old. And so to stop, make sure that I didn't use Chat GPT or some other AI, because you know that all of us are cheating. We have to write our papers. We're not allowed to write in print.
Man, I can't write in cursive anymore either.
That ain't gonna happen. Kids don't even know how.
I don't even know. I don't even remember how to write in cursive.
It would only give me an hour to do the essay.
Kids don't even know how to write in cursive. They literally do not teach it anymore.
Yeah,
they don't teach it.
So we're right now we're at a really interesting crossroads.
I'm just saying, like, I know for a fact, I know elementary and junior high school teachers, they literally do not teach it.
No. I know tons of kids don't write in cursive. Tons of them. Yeah. My nephews write in cursive and stuff because their parents make them.
My daughter doesn't write in cursive.
Yeah. She's not the only one.
No, I know she's not. She's
Unified had pushed out cursive 15 years ago.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, some of them kids can't even read cursive.
No, they can't read. No. So the professor said you have to write your paper in cursive. So that way, if the cursive is identical, I know AI did it. Yeah. But print, there's enough AI that can write with a 3D printer, write in print to make a perfect paper. Yeah. Those kids have figured that out. Yeah, figure that shit out. I got this 3D printer that my dad doesn't use anymore, and I've been printing shit on it. And I have Chat GPT. I linked them together, put the booklet on the platter, and it writes out the essay. Perfect.
Yeah. These kids went through all of high school, all of junior high, and they've never learned cursive.
Never learned it. So now we have that issue. That has to be solved too. Because I can see the screen, I can see the studio saying, hey, writers, your first draft has to be handwritten. Your first draft has to be handwritten. Because we don't trust that you did it on your own. Because one of y'all might have went out to Chat GPT, say, write this script about big robots like Spielberg. Bam, give me a perfect script.
But that is going to be what happens. That is going to be what happens. That's going to be the first draft.
Those are trying to fight that.
I thought the studios were in favor of that because they didn't have to hire writers.
Studios are in favor they don't have to hire writers, but the Writers Guild saying you always have to hire writers, and the writers are going to be the middleman to do that. You're going to have to pay the writers
because like you can have a draft of Fast and the Furious without a good writer.
Yes,
that should be right.
And that's going to be the point of contention. They have AI that has ingested every award-winning film on planet Earth, all the dialogue from every award-winning film and every book that had dialogue, and said, kick out the perfect project.
I get that, but like, if you want to write Fast and Furious, if you want to write a Transformers movie, you can do. ChatGPT can write it.
But you can have ChatGPT write it in your voice. Stephen can literally write a book right now, pick the topic and say, write it like me. Write it as if I'm Stephen King, and he'll sound just like him. And all he has to do is go through and read that book, make a couple of changes here and there that the AI didn't get right, and submit the book to his editor. And it's a perfect book.
Absolutely. That's what I thought that's what the studios wanted to do.
The publisher still has to pay Stephen King his fee when they could have just done that.
Right, but
they don't want to pay Stephen King to do that.
Yeah, but they want the ability to do that. Like, give me a book in Stephen King's voice.
Yes, and that's where Stephen King on the other end of that saying, I don't want y'all using AI, and the studio saying we don't want you using AI.
I get that.
They don't trust it. They both have loaded guns pointed at each other.
Yeah, but I get the thing though. For Stephen King, though, like, what difference does it make if I submit something that's done to something that's profitable. If I can submit something, if Stephen King has AI do it, and
because as an executive, I'm so fucking greedy
because
that I could have done that. I could have had my 17-year-old son do that for free for a fucking large.
But Stephen King could have had a ghostwriter write the shit too, and paid him a salary that he's never going to get. He submits it.
But I know about that. That's an eye wink.
You know.
I'll take an eye wink, Stephen King. I'll take that eye wink from you.
Like, what's his name? What's that big writer? All he does is have ghostwriters. I forgot his name. All he does is have ghostwriters write his shit. So I mean, to me, the AI is that's like a ghostwriter, right? That's not.
It is.
But what the writers don't want.
I would hire the ghostwriter then. And the people are saying you cannot put my name in the ghostwriter field, write a book like me. You cannot mention my name in the AI inquiry. You cannot put my name in there.
And that's an interesting take. That you could say the AI can't mention your name, but you know.
So you can't say write something like Steven Spielberg. You can't mention Steven Spielberg or anything like my movies. You cannot use any reference associated with me in the metadata. You cannot use it. And unless I do it. And the studio's like, why would I pay you to do it when I can do that?
Absolutely.
And so that's going to be a long drawn out discussion. It's going to be interesting. There's a lot of discussion points here.
Absolutely. If I were the studio, I'd be like, why can't I just do it?
Why can't I just do it? Why should I pay you your $7 million fee to do it when I could do that shit in 5 minutes?
And then the writer is like, yo, you can't just put me in my name. Yeah.
Because it's my name and it's my metadata because it all came out of my head.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. And how do I know you're not mentioning me with the fucking creator of Stranger Things to come out for Stephen King like Stranger Things show? And you did that and bastardized both of us. Now I got to sue him. He got to sue me.
Absolutely. They can both be it. Stranger Things / Stephen King / what's the one?
Like it's nothing because both of y'all are signed under me. So there's a lot of points here, you guys. There's so many points they're going to tackle. And that these executives, these bloodthirsty MFers are not going to give up any of that stuff.
They are.
For all of it. Because their job is to drive down costs and increase their profits, especially in
they do understand that it has to be some revenue, right? And if it's no revenue, they're going to realize that they're practical.
And they have so much money, they probably burn it all down.
Not all of them have a lot of money. Like the Bob Igers has a lot of money. Like Bob Iger has a lot of money. Zaslav has a lot of money, right? They have a lot of money, but then they still do answer to shareholders.
Yeah. Well, I'll burn it all down while I'm here.
You know, and they can be replaced.
I can't. Who's going to replace me?
Oh, anybody can replace Bob Iger.
Shareholders want me here. The ones that can vote me off, they want me here because they already put the battery in Igers back and say burn it all down if they don't want to.
If there's the battery, if there's the thing that says the battery in the back, but once they start to let a few flat quarters come in, they're not gonna.
I hope that's right. I hope that's right.
Let a few quarters come in. Bob Chapek was the man until like he missed a quarter. He missed quarters in the pandemic.
Yeah, I know.
Pandemic, and they were like, "No, he ain't doing like Bob was." No, it wasn't a goddamn pandemic.
That's true, and I think that what's going to happen is the executives right now crafting press releases right now talking about how the industry's changed. So when they burn it all down, the people that actually can fire them will be content with it. They're doing expectation management right now.
That's their job. That's their job. I get it. They're evil people, and that's their job. Right?
Like, hey guys, these writers, these actors, and all these production people, they want too much. We give them a little bit now while the industry is dying, we're gonna have a problem. But we found the light, and the light is there's a lot of content on YouTube and Twitch and all.
Absolutely.
And
I think they're going to pick up streamers and reality shows and all those things.
All of them want to be Vin Diesel. Hell, half of them can act better than Vin Diesel.
And we can get a Chat GPT script, write it up. We put half the money we got to give The Rock, and we put him in there, half the budget, and we can make a profitable movie. It don't have to be good. It can be It don't have to be good. It can be profitable, and that's all.
A $200 million movie, we make a $30 million movie, make $80 million on top of it.
Yeah.
And it's still the same amount of profit margin.
Yeah.
Still the same amount of profit margin.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's all it comes down to is the margin.
Yeah.
The same profit margin. So cut me my $20 million check for solving your damn problems because these hungry, these bastards, these rats out here want to eat off us. And I saved us. You're welcome. Ta-da. It's the most, it's crazy. It's like the most Republican thing you could ever do, and they're gonna pull it off.
No, I mean, the only thing is, right, is that model sustainable?
Because the executives right now is going to sustain me into retirement. Right. I'm 80 years old. I'm going to ride it on.
I hear that. But do people want to do that? And can we prove that that's sustainable? Can we bring that to scale is what they got to
Randy, we got people in Kentucky making $18,000 a year still believe in trickle-down economics. And they came into place in the 80s. They still believe in it. They make $18,000 a year.
Mark said ESPN started early. I don't know any of these people on there, save for Stephen A. and a couple.
Exactly. Mark is correct. Prime example. Hire Filet from Instagram. Filet has up to 1 million followers right now, and he's crafted a whole different type of slang for basketball and soccer. The term tween. He actually crafted that term tween. He used to say crossover. He says tween, in between. And that's the new hot term. You got people
that talked a lot.
You got people ESPN saying tween.
Well,
not crossover, not broken ankles. Tween. Ooh, tween. You know, they'll hire Filet in there. Filet makes like $60,000 a year. They said, we're going to give you 300.
I do think the objective is, and that was how reality television came across. It was like, yo, why are we paying these actors all this money, right? And the numbers aren't doing it. Let's pay some no-name person that we've never heard of to go on there, act crazy on the show, and we can pay them less money and make the same margins. Like that literally gave birth to reality television.
Hell, let's be honest about it. People looked at your man in Atlanta, your boy in Medea dresses. We're close, Rodney. In Medea dresses,
but
to become a billionaire because he didn't have scripts.
The only thing I will say is, though, right? If you're going to, you've got to get rid. Then you're going to get rid of the streaming services. I'm not going to pay $15 a month to watch.
You're not going to pay it, but people will. These kids, your daughter would pay it.
My daughter expects it to be free.
Right now, she does.
Because it's been free for so long.
She'll learn that you have to pay for things because they're teaching her dad in school.
The music industry hasn't thought that. You talked about the music industry earlier, right? We're still not paying for music.
That's true. That's true.
We're still not, right?
We're paying for music. We're not paying the musicians that make the music.
We're not buying CDs, right? We're like, oh, I can get this shit for 10 for what I pay for one CD. I can pay monthly and get thousands of songs.
Universal Music Group has adapted to that.
You know,
they have cut enough positions and enough people. My neighbor who works for Universal Music Group in finance department has found a way to buy Death Row Records for Snoop Dogg. They found a way to do that.
So, you know, all right. I don't think we're gonna resolve this, and
y'all may be right. They'll come to a conclusion for the strikes. They'll end the strikes and come to a temporary negotiation with the back door that the actors can go back on strike and the writers can go back on strike. But the metadata issue, the AI issues, those are not going to be resolved because nobody knows what this is going to look like in 10 years.
The fuck said, but that's an exception. And I'm a crazy person who imports 3D Blu-rays.
Yep, he does. The Funk sold me an extra copy of his 3D Blu-ray of Into the Spider-Verse from Germany. It's from Germany.
These kids are paying a girl to the amount of $10K a week to mimic sounds of whatever they send her on
TikTok. Yes. She makes $10,000 a week. This French black girl from Montreal, and she goes donut, donut, donut. Ooh, 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 and she makes 10 grand a month.
God bless her.
I watch her. She's a complete animatronic. She's a complete animatronic. And she only breaks characters a couple of times, to put her son to bed a couple of times, and she jumps right back in the character perfectly. It's amazing. That's all she does, is whatever emoji you send her, or whenever you pay for her rose, she goes, ooh, a rose. And she sniffs the rose like, ooh, ice cream. Ice cream. And you're paying that to her.
I get it.
They're paying her to do that. And I'm like, that's genius. I'm gonna do that. 10 grand a month. 10 grand. She makes 120 grand a year, Randy, for 2 hours of time online to do this on TikTok.
I get it. God bless. But yo, we gotta get out of here, man. We
get out of here. Sorry, Rodney. We kept you on longer than we could. Such an interesting topic. Yeah, and I'm like they're not going to resolve the issues in the next 6-7 months. These are some heavy, deep issues.
I don't think they're going to resolve it. I think the strike is going to be
that y'all may be right. You and Rodney may be absolutely right on that. More than likely, I'm going to say this: you all are right about that.
All these issues. I don't think all these issues are going to be resolved though, but I do think the strike will be pissed.
Because I did March of the Penguins doesn't mean you own my fucking voice.
Right.
And there's people that say, well, you did March of the Penguins, you can't use your voice anywhere else. Then somebody else is saying, what do you mean, Morgan Freeman? You were in Red. You're in a Warner Brothers film. Warner Brothers saying you can't use your voice anywhere else. And his estate is like, Morgan's almost dead. And we're about to make this God voice money all the way around. Then Amazon's like, Morgan did a couple of books. We own that voice. And the state saying, no, we own his voice. There's a lot going on. And
I get that. I get that.
The writers want this resolved. The actors want this stuff resolved. And I don't know if the unions are strong enough to actually keep them on strike until it's resolved.
Mark said those are some Vince McMahon type of contracts. Suge Knight type contracts.
Matter of fact, WWE says they own The Rock's voice.
They ain't gonna win that.
I'm saying.
I hear it. I hear you. But they ain't gonna win that.
It owned The Rock's body because the first early scans of The Rock for the.
I get it, and those are all. And they actually are legitimate questions, right? Like
I got the copyright because y'all didn't have that in any of my contracts. So
and I don't think that a corporation should be able to own somebody's likeness or their voice into perpetuity because they did one movie with them.
So Roxanne, I own my copyright to myself. So y'all may own those versions of the models, but you can't use them without my estate saying you can use them again.
Like if I did a movie with you, that doesn't mean you can use my likeness and my voice every single time. I don't think
anything.
Right. I don't think that's
sell it off like it's a slave.
Right. I don't think that's right. You know what I'm saying? No. Like you can own that character. You can, you can re-show it again, but you don't own my likeness forever.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yes. There's a lot there. There's a lot of discussions going to go on. So this is going to be a very interesting time for us. And it's going to be years for we find this. And I'm saying years too, because American Congress and the EU need to pass bills and laws to protect people. And then we'll see stuff falling out. And who they're going to side with? Of course, mega corporations.
So we'll see.
Anything you want to say to people, Randy?
Well, next week, we're off, right? Are we off? We're off all week, right? Comic-Con.
I'll stream from Comic-Con floor with some cosplay and stuff.
I ain't gonna stream from Comic-Con floor. Stop it.
Maybe go on Instagram. We didn't go on Instagram at BlurCon
because we was at BlurCon having a ball. That's why I know you not go stream. That's why I know you ain't go stream from Comic-Con. I'm like, stop it.
Different. BlurCon was different. It was both our first BlurCon officially. So Comic-Con was like, I see all my friends there. Rodney may come down for a day and hang out. I don't know.
I'm not holding my breath for it. Binge-worthy won't be on. Binge-worthy won't be on Wednesday, so
won't be on. And GeekBeast will not be on, you guys.
GeekBeast won't be on.
We'll see if we can stream from Comic-Con floor if I have that energy in me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all can see me. I'll go around to all the shops and talk to comic book creators for you guys because they need all the love we can give them.
Now that's facts. Hey, I'm always about supporting the artists.
The artists and the writers. I want the comic book writers.
When I say artists, I mean creatives. I'm always about supporting the creatives.
Yeah. So, with that being said, thank you all for coming in and supporting our show as usual. Share us with your friends and family. As you know, we are a People of Color network where we actually have people in front of the camera, the color, and people behind the camera, the color behind the camera.
Yep,
and we eat shit. We all love it. Yep. We love it to death. And share us with everybody because we have very hot takes. This has been a hot take show all the way around.
We didn't talk about anything else. And we plan to, but we didn't talk about anything else.
Workers are forming a union, so video games may get a union. I'm just gonna get stomped out real quick though, because video games, all they're gonna do is tell all the leaders in the video games, like head artists and art directors, don't you let these peons get anything. They're gonna hurt your salaries in the future, and we're gonna give in to that. With that being said, we don't have a union, so we can always come back and stream during the strikes and keep y'all updated with all this stuff. Fortunately, we'll feed y'all the news about what's going on, and if this thing lasts longer than a year, we're gonna be in trouble, guys.
But we ain't got we can do K-dramas.
Yeah, we can do K-dramas. We can do all kinds of. There's tons of stuff on streaming that we haven't covered. We can go back in the archives. We can do retro binge worthies. Jesus Christ, Randy. There's at least 10,000 shows I come at the top of my head right now that we could do. It
might give me some time to catch up on some stuff
that we should have done.
Maybe, yeah. Or just that I want to see. Like I said, if I go past 4 episodes and I don't get caught up, I'm like, I can't watch that.
Well, you ain't gonna have nothing else to watch. You don't watch everything.
Oh, there's plenty of stuff I could watch. There's plenty of stuff.
Like Unicorn, Warriors Eternal. We can watch Unicorns Warriors Eternal.
I could get caught up on whatchamacallit. What's the anime that just ended that you guys really loved? The giants eating the people and shit.
Titans. Yeah, Rodney needs to get out of here, guys. He's like, okay. Y'all got to fuck up out of here. Thank you for tuning in. Shout out to Digital Click. Shout out to Rodney. Shout out to the Funk Portraying Our Stories. We'll talk about it off air in the water cooler talk.
Peace.